Hey, what's up? I just wanted to do a quick video to kind of update anyone who is very smartly not paying attention to the Xbox things that are going on. Uh, I want to talk about some things that we know, that we've learned, that seem factual or very likely, and then some of my own speculation and thoughts. So if you haven't been paying attention to social media, good on you, because it's a trash dump in general, but especially gaming, especially Xbox social media right now is a mess. If you don't know, on Sunday, for the last few weeks, there's been rumors that there may be a couple minor games from Xbox that are exclusive that could end up getting shared with PlayStation, Nintendo, other platforms. The rumors were games like Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush and things like that. So over the weekend, especially Sunday afternoon, a bunch of rumors came out that, as far as I know, were anonymous, and were all coming from various outlets. So it seemed like someone was going around to all the different outlets and giving them the scoop on various games that also may be shared. And this was going along the lines of Starfield, the new Indiana Jones game that's coming out this winter, as well as Gears of War. I've seen mention on like Reddit of Halo. I've not actually seen an article suggesting Halo, but we can consider it all the same, right? So what has followed since then has been what I can really only describe as embarrassing. If you want to blame Xbox and bad communication, I guess fine. I think if you do that, you kind of have your own objective by doing that. But okay, there is a lot of commentary right now about how Xbox has maybe been a little too close, a little too parasocial with some influencers and things like that. And when those people turn on you, whether it's for good reason or not, it makes things pretty tough in your community. And that's what's happened. So a large number of what I call super fan influencers have basically lost their minds over the last couple days, over some unsubstantiated rumors that maybe a few games are going to get shared. What has happened is this crazy situation where these guys have basically got into their own heads and are like, well, they're not going to make any more Xboxes, and all exclusive games are going to be on PlayStation eventually, and that means the Xbox platform is dead. And to the point where some of these dorks have been posting receipts where they've taken their Xbox and all of their games to GameStop and turned it in and bought a PlayStation 5. What? And it's been more people than should be. There's also this dork, this Tim Dog guy, who's a pretty influential guy in the Xbox community, unfortunately, as it's been shown now, who's done multiple like 7-8 hour those audio live shows you can do on Twitter, where it's just basically been this like funeral that they've been doing, and he's renounced his fandom of Xbox and all of this stupid stuff. What's tough about it for me is that I see it as two things. There's some people who are being genuine about this and have the like personality of a 12-year-old, and they're just throwing a fit. This is basically a tantrum, especially because it's not over any facts or things with context. There's people like that who are genuinely just being weirdos right now. Then the other side, which I think this applies to a lot of the bigger folks who are drumming up all this drama and all this outrage and stuff, they're clickbaiting, and and what's most interesting about it is some of these really influential folks with 100,000 followers, 250,000 or more, who have these connections with Xbox and stuff. What's interesting about them is that they very likely know more about the situation than has been revealed so far, and may even know that it's not completely accurate. Maybe it's not as bad as it seems right now, but they don't need to reveal that, and they know that they have about a week that they can just milk this for views, for rage bait, for all that stuff. Because on Monday, Phil Spencer came out and said, "We're hearing you. We're seeing the conversations going on. We're going to do a business update next week to talk about the plans and the future of Xbox." And that's what they're going to do. I've seen people doing the whole like, "Whoa, I can't believe they're going to wait a week," and they can't wait a week. This is only going to get worse. It probably won't. It's going to die down sooner and later. But they didn't plan on this happening. No matter how true or false these rumors are, you're talking about a $3 trillion company that has shareholders and has to follow a bunch of laws about how they reveal information, and they have to go through all these checks and the bureaucracy of a giant corporation. And so them getting out a response in a week is a pretty big deal. And if anything, it's probably not the worst thing to let heads cool from all these psychopaths who are just having complete meltdowns over this stuff, really for no reason, at least not yet. And the thing is that in this update, what's going to happen is they're either going to dispel these rumors completely. No, we're not putting any of our games on PlayStation. We're still going to make hardware. Relax, like stop this. Or there's going to be like a kernel of truth in these rumors, but it's not going to be the full context, and that they can give more info. I highly doubt we're going to find out that all these rumors are true. No more hardware. All Xbox games are going to PlayStation. That seems as impossible as them all being completely false, right? With these things, you tend to fall in the middle. And my guess, my prediction, is that they're going to come out, they're going to say, yep, we are talking about, and we're likely going to experiment with releasing a handful of our games on other platforms, including the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. These titles are going to include, it seems like it's all Bethesda titles from what I've really seen, other than some of the more recent rumors about potentially Halo or Gears. But, Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush, I believe, I can't remember if there's another one. But they're going to say, but we're still going to have our own exclusives, and these games won't be day one on other platforms. We're going to have them exclusive for 6 months or a year. Indiana Jones is the other one. And that we're going to make more hardware. And to back that up, and what I think has made a bunch of these people look really, really silly, who've been just losing their minds for the last 2 days, is now there's rumors coming out that in 2026 there's going to be new like high-end hardware to replace the Series X. It's going to be a new home-based system console, and they're going to do a second tier console again like the Series S, but not. It's going to be a dockable mobile platform where it's going to be a Switch or a Steam Deck type device that can play games either via the cloud or on its own hardware, and that you can dock it and play it on a TV if you want. I think that's a really good strategy if this is true. I think in hindsight, the Series S was probably not a great idea. I think that the money that they spent on making that exist probably could have been spent on making the Series X cheaper and more competitive, and just having one single SKU. I understand that they've sold a lot of Series S's, and that's kind of buffed up their numbers a bit of their sales. But I think that in hindsight, they probably would have been better off just focusing on the X. But I think that this strategy with having a handheld makes a lot more sense than doing another low tier console, because I think that the low tier console in this gen has kind of hurt both the games and the console sales in general, where if they offer something unique, which is what Xbox needs to do, they already have games being made and put out. They already have Game Pass, which is already a unique thing to them for the most part. And their hardware is the thing that really isn't very unique, and that it's basically exactly the same as the PlayStation 5, or it's lower when we talk about the Series S. And I just think that it's just funny that this rumor drops, these 2 days after all these people start losing their minds about this stuff, and like, oh, the Xbox platform is dead. I'm going to sell all my Xbox stuff, and I'm whatever. And now we find out that in a couple years, they're almost certainly going to release a console. It's probably going to be really great. And they may even have this console come out that has a cool hook to it. And it would be a really exciting thing to come out. Now, it sounds like Sony is also doing a handheld of some type. They already did the Portal, but that's a weird kind of useless device, at least in my opinion. And, it seems like there will be competition there. But it just seems like maybe a bunch of these dudes freaked out over nothing. Maybe knowingly, in my opinion. I think that maybe this was not as genuine as they would like us to believe, but they're milking it like a cow's udders right now, and it's pretty frustrating because it's doing irreparable damage to their own communities. I think with proper messaging and results, Xbox will be fine. I think it's kind of a blip on their radar. But these dudes who have made like their whole careers, quote unquote, on being these like Xbox influencers, to show just how soft and how pathetic and childish they are, which I've always kind of felt that way about most of them anyways. I've always avoided these folks who are like, they're essentially the high profile console warriors, and PlayStation has them too. Maybe Nintendo does. I never pay attention to them, but there's a few dozen people on both the Xbox and PlayStation side who are these like super fan influencers, and they're all just the worst. They're just awful. They just argue with each other all the time. They do the console war thing. They post these like lame memes and stuff all the time. And every time I come across them, I like try to ignore it, but it's impossible to ignore right now because they are knowingly or unknowingly basically clickbaiting, sensationalizing, and spreading like misinformation about this platform, just for the sake of it seems like attention and probably some money. So I implore people to chill the F out. I suspect that Xbox is going to have a pretty nice future ahead of them, and that they wouldn't be making these moves unless it was good for their company. Whether or not consumers agree with how good or bad it is, obviously that's up to everyone. But I implore people to take a chill pill and maybe relax. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave this one. If you like the video, please subscribe, hit the like button, comment down below with your own thoughts. I am curious. You can find me as Bond Diesel all over the place, especially over on Twitch, where I do stream a couple times a week. I just started a new modded Mass Effect trilogy playthrough, so come over and check that out. You can also see that here on YouTube. I'll be posting the VODs as soon as I'm ready. That's all I have for this one, so until next time.